Have you ever just looked at the world and felt like everything's getting more complicated? Maybe even a little fragile? If you have, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to unpack a really powerful framework that helps make sense of it all.
I mean, it's the big question on so many of our minds, right? You see the news headlines, the economic shifts, the environmental reports. It can all feel pretty overwhelming. But what if it's not just random chaos? What if there's a deeper structure to everything that's happening?
And this quote really gets to the heart of it. The instability we're all feeling, it's not just a bunch of separate, unrelated problems. It's actually the result of deep, interconnected systems that are all being pushed to their limits at the same time without working together properly.
So to really get this, we've got to stop looking at civilization in pieces, politics over here, the economy over there. It's not a collection of separate parts. It's one single, interconnected structure. And the model we're about to explore helps us see that structure crystal clear.
This model breaks civilization down into 4 distinct layers, and each one has a few core systems inside it. We're going to start at the very bottom with the foundation and then work our way up to see how it all clicks together.
So, first up is the foundation layer. You can think of this as the physical world that everything else relies on. I mean, without a stable foundation, you really can't build anything on top of it.
The very first system is energy. It's basically the power source for civilization itself. Think about it. Every single thing we do, from growing food to sending an email, depends completely on our ability to create and move energy. When this system is strained, that pressure just radiates out into everything else.
Next up are food and ecological systems. And listen, this is about way more than just what you find at the grocery store. It's about the health of our soil, the stability of our water, and biodiversity, the whole biological bedrock we need to survive.
And rounding out this layer is the built environment. Our cities, our roads, our buildings, they aren't just passive backgrounds to our lives. No, they actively shape how we live, how we interact, and even our health. When they're not working right, they create friction in pretty much everything we do.
Okay, so building on top of that physical base, we have the interaction layer. This layer is all about how we coordinate with each other and how we move resources, information, and decisions through the entire system. First in this layer is governance. And it's not just about politics, okay? At its core, governance is our operating system for managing complexity. It's how we make decisions together and figure out who gets what. When it's slow or clunky, the whole system just gets bogged down.
And right alongside that is our economic system. Sure, it's how we measure and distribute value, but it's probably better to think of it not just as wealth, but as a critical flow system. If money and resources aren't flowing to where they need to go, you get enormous pressure building up in the system.
The 6th system here is communication and media. You can think of this as the nervous system of civilization. It's what lets us coordinate everything else. If we don't have a reliable way to share information and, agree on a shared reality, then solving problems together becomes almost impossible.
Okay, so we've got our physical foundation and the systems for interaction. Now we're moving up to the 3rd layer, integration. This is all about the human element, how we as people and as institutions actually connect with all these other systems.
Education is absolutely crucial here. Its whole job is to get us ready to navigate the world. So, is our education system teaching us how to solve complex, systemic problems, or is it kind of stuck on outdated knowledge? The answer to that really determines our ability to adapt as a society.
Then we have health. A healthy, resilient population is just fundamental to a stable society. And this means we need to think beyond just treating diseases and really focus on the overall stability of our biological systems, especially when things get stressful.
And this brings us to a huge modern challenge: human awareness and technology. We are creating these incredibly powerful tools, but the real test is how we integrate them. Is our technology actually making us better at making good decisions, or is it just creating more noise and confusion?
All right, now for our final layer, the expansion layer. This is the most forward-looking part of the whole model. It asks the ultimate question: can our civilization actually sustain itself and keep going for the long haul?
A huge piece of this is temporal alignment. So much of our world runs on really short-term thinking, quarterly reports, election cycles, you know the drill. But the real world, nature, it operates on long-term cycles. When those are out of sync, it means we're constantly making choices that hurt our own future.
And that leads right into ecological integration. For way too long, we've acted like civilization is somehow separate from the environment. This model makes it totally clear. We are a subsystem inside of a much larger ecological system. We have to play by its rules, or we end up creating massive risks for ourselves.
And all of that brings us to the 12th and final system, long-term continuity. This is really the ultimate goal. The true measure of a civilization isn't how big or powerful it is at its peak, but its ability to adapt, to endure, and to stick around for generations to come.
So, we've walked through all 12 systems, from energy and economics all the way to ecology. But just looking at them one by one kind of misses the point. The real power of this model, the big insight, comes from seeing how they all connect.
So let's bring it all home. The reason things feel so unstable right now is because it's not just one system that's under pressure. It's a whole bunch of them, all at the same time. And because they're not aligned, because they're not working together, the pressure in one system just spills over and makes everything worse in the others.
Think it through for a second. The cost of energy? That directly hits the economy. The decisions our governments make? That determines the quality of our infrastructure. That infrastructure, in turn, affects our daily health. And our health, of course, impacts our productivity, which feeds right back into, you guessed it, economic stability. It's all one big interconnected loop. So this framework helps us see the world not as a collection of separate problems, but as a single system that's in desperate need of realignment. And it leaves us with a really critical question to think about. If all our problems are this deeply connected, then don't our solutions have to be too?
This entire framework that we've walked through is based on the research of Kevin L. Brown. It's a really powerful lens for making sense of the complex times we live in. Thanks so much for joining me.